Hey there folks, day 38. I didn't get to the front part of the camper yesterday. Just the day ran short. We went picking blueberries. And this morning it's been raining and it just sort of dried off. So I decided to wrap up my makeshift workbench, my plywood, in a tarp here, so that if it does get drizzly, it won't get wet. The ACM over here, well, it's wet, but that's fine. It's going to get wet anyway. It might be a little bit more difficult to mark. We'll have to dry it off, that sort of stuff. But we're going to start on this today. Put the first piece on here as a guide, get the bend on it and that sort of stuff, and see where it goes from there, because we do have to get some trim go along the edge here. I'm going to splurge and get the good trim for here, and the rest we're going to use 3/4 aluminum angle. Okay, there we go. Oh, time to get building. I've got to wipe all the water off this first before I can mark that's a Sharpie mark there. It's not really working that well, so I gotta dry it off. Probably flip it over as well. But as with the rest of this build, the number side goes in, and that's the number you can see right there. That's why I put a number on that side, so we won't easily forget which side goes in and which side goes out. Run over this with another cloth now to get any residual dampness. A little bit of dirt there. Okie dokie. While the ceiling of the camper pod is a great place to store stuff, can't really store stuff up here when I'm trying to put the roof on. So I've got to remove all this. I've already taken some stuff off already. Probably leave the FRP up there for now. I'm going to be returning that since we're moving in a different direction. So I can take the measurements of the roof to make sure how wide she is. I think it's like 74 3/8. I have to cut the ACM, but I just want to make sure. I measured across all the braces, and for the most part they're 74 3/8. Some are like a 1/16 of an inch wider, so I'm going to go with 74 3/8 for the width. Now we're sort of planning on starting here with the first piece. It's going to run up to here, so it might be some extra bracing we're going to have to put in. We'll see. But I'm going to need 3 full sheets with this amount cut off from here to the end, and one 16-inch piece at the back. So I'm probably going to cut the 3 main sheets today and leave the other one until later, because there might be some adjustment when we get to the end. But yeah, so let's start cutting this one. I cut these 3 pieces of ACM for the roof. I thought I only had 1 extra piece, so I was going to be short, but luckily I had 2. Also took the ACM, sorry, the FRP fiberglass reinforced panel that was stored on top of the camper pod and put it back in the trailer, because we're returning that because we're going to be using a different product inside. And so I cut all these 74 3/8, and the cut ones I've got put right there. The non-cut ones I have right there. So I'm going to have to trim one of these later, but not today. And I've also put a couple of, you may remember when I was putting on the sides, I had these little cleats on the bottom. So I'm going to put this piece of ACM here on there and clamp it across here with a clamp and a piece of strapping to hold it in place, kinda. And I'm going to try to bend it up over the edge, and it should land somewhere about right there. And then I'll probably put a couple of clamps up here just so it'll hold the curve. That's the plan. Okay, so there's a bit of a spring tension here. Not 100% what we're going to do. Probably just going to clamp it here and let it set overnight, but I can't see the edges near my elbow, whether there's a gap or not. Shouldn't be. But the challenge is that with it bent, obviously there's a lot of tension. Once we bend this, it'll be fine. But when I had it there and had 2 clamps put across the top there, this was bowed out here, and there was a gap right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out some way of, I might have to put maybe a strip of wood down here and in maybe 1/2 inch, so it'll be any hole will be covered. Put a couple of screws into it to give it some pressure there, so we can get a bend on it right here and keep that flush. That might be the only way of doing it, maybe. But anyway, there's solution to every problem. Anyway, we got this far. Figure out the rest, and it kind of lands at the 4-foot mark where we wanted it to, and it may go up a little bit further, I would imagine, once all the kinks are worked out, because it does have a lot of spring back. Yeah. Okay. Stay tuned. Well, it's the end of day 38, and I'm kind of stumped. I'm trying to figure out how to bend that first piece of ACM. I was trying with some straps here to wrap it in through the window, as you can see right there, and maybe in through there, to try to get a bend on it, but these keep moving, so I'd have to put braces across there. Or would it be better if I took this out and put it along the edge of this plywood, maybe reinforced edge of the plywood with some angle or something, and try to bend it here like as in a big break. Try that, because it's not only the corners that are bending that need to bend, it's the entire piece right along here. So that might be my best bet, but it's not something that I want to start at the end of the day, because I did go ahead and mark it. I don't know if you can see the red line. That's where the front board touches the ACM. So I'll meet to that tomorrow. Bring it outside and try to make a big break and try to get a bit of a bend on that. Well, once that's bent, then it's fine. The rest of it will fall into place, and maybe that bracketry that I have outside with the straps may work even better, and may not press. But I got to get that bend, and it's not just on the corners; it's right along the edge. So that might be the best bet. But anyway, stumped, but we'll figure it out somehow. Then when we get that figured out, I'm thinking that the next bend will be somewhere around there. So I may just mark on the wall where this piece lays, and then take the next piece and bend it first before I install this piece, because the last piece will be flat, which will be perfectly simple. But the next curve, I think I'll run into extra problems if this one is installed, because I can actually use this beam across here as a brace point for the curve. Anyway, sorry for the rambling, but it's day 38. That's going to be it for today, I think. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.